Today at the farm, we are here inside of our farm shop where we have our John Deere combine and corn head that, believe it or not, in 60 days, we could be out there picking some corn. And the first thing we gotta get done out of our long list of things that need to get done to get the combine ready is we need to put our stalk stompers back on underneath here of the corn head. So that's what we're about to do. This here is the stalk stompers that I'm talking about. The purpose this serves is it actually pushes down or mushrooms down the stalk after the corn's harvested. That way it prevents some wear and tear on the tires. We take them off every year to clean them out. Now it's a struggle to put them back on. Now that we have all of our stalk stompers on here at the bottom of the corn head, the next thing Dad's starting to check here is we have to check all of the individual row unit gear cases. This is what's actually the oil for our stalk rollers. So we're gonna start checking all those across the 12 rows on the head. Take the dipstick out. Now it's really hard to see on the dipstick if the oil's good. There's just these two really small ribbons on there that show if the oil's up to that level, which on this one it looks like it's good. So now we'll keep checking the rest of them. Hopefully they're all good. Know that I don't have to service them because I think this is every like 500 hours that this oil's got to be changed. Just checking it. And while I'm working on checking the gear case oil here, Dad's sitting down on the chair. What are you playing, Farming Simulator today, or?
Sending pictures of John Deere.
Oh, I guess he's sending pictures of John Deere. He's done playing Farming Simulator for the time being, but he's trying to figure out, there's this little guard here down on row number 12. It's chewed off a little bit right here on the inside. He's trying to figure out if that's gonna be a problem. So that's what he's checking on.
Chasing you. Chasing you.
What do you got going on here?
I'm just checking the gathering chains, readjusting the tension here on each one of the chains. So you gotta loosen up this bottom nut,
Yep.
and then tighten up inside this spring. So you gotta have enough play in here, and that determines kind of your offset for the gathering chains coming into the...
And it's these gathering chains here that take the corn, the actual ears of corn when we start stripping down the plant into the corn head. Now I'm gonna start changing the oil on the auger that runs in the back.
I don't understand why we need cardboards here. I could have just held this bucket over here.
just spilled the whole thing.
There we go.
Now it's time to start filling it back up with oil. Got the oil here, just starting to shoot it back into the oil capacity. Fill it up until a little bit of oil drains out of here. That's when you know it's full.
Ooh, too much.
The next thing we need to do on the corn head here is we need to change out the knives underneath. So Dad's gonna raise up the corn head. I'll put the stop in there. That way it doesn't come down on us when we're under there. Then we'll start changing them. Here are the knives, the corn knives on the bottom of the corn head that we're gonna be replacing. They're reversible, so this is 2 years on this corn knife that we've already done, so we've already flipped it. So we got some new corn knives here. We're gonna start putting these on. This is what cuts the bottom half of the corn plant as it goes through the corn head. Starts to chop up some of that material. We obviously got 24 of them to replace, so it's time to start doing it. We got all the knives switched out with new ones on the corn head, at least the ones that we could actually fix. Here's a look at one of the new knives. Has a nice carbon tungsten edge to it. Here's a look at one of the old knives. It only cuts on the one side, so that's why you can flip them from year to year, get 2 years out of them. The reason I say we're only able to replace some of the knives on the corn head is because some of them, they have this plate underneath. This is the plate that holds the knives up to the bottom of the row unit, and some of these plates are actually broke. They are broke right here where this weld is. That's what acts as a stop, so the blades are only supposed to go turn like this. But without that there, the blades might actually spin and hit each other underneath of the corn head. So we're getting a couple more of these ordered since these ones are broke. And just like any other piece on the combine and the corn head, this little piece is expensive. $98 for one of these, so we got another $500 in parts just before the season's even started. That right there, that's my favorite light. It lights up this end snoot on both sides. Super nice when you're running at night. It looked like all the lights were good and operational. Now I was reading again in the cornhead manual, and I believe there's just one last thing we need to check on this before we take it outside to start running oil on all the chains. And that is, we need to check the spacing between our auger here, and that's the auger that takes all of our corn ears that'll get fed into this to bring them into the center of the feeder house of the combine. So we need to check this little bit of spacing between the bottom tray here and the auger. And according to the operator's manual here, we need to be in between 19 30-seconds and 29 30-seconds of a gap. So I picked up 2 little bolts, measured the head of them. I got measurements that are pretty close, so we're gonna try sticking these and see where we're at for gap currently on the auger. It's good. Check here. Looks good. The middle section here, it's just a little bit too far away. There's a gap between my bolt and the auger flighting. So now we're gonna start loosening up the hanger that holds just this middle auger section. We're gonna try letting this down, that way we're within threshold of where it's supposed to be. We let it down a little bit. Now we'll check again here with our bolt. Looks like we're hitting there. We'll check here. Looks like we should be good. So now we got this one adjusted. All the rest of them seem to be good. So we'll get this thing folded up. Because the corn head is 12 rows wide, it's actually 30 feet long, which is the exact same size as our big overhead door in the shop, but the corn head's actually just a little bit over 30 feet wide. Trust me, we've tried to get it through. So we're gonna fold everything down and get the head folded in together. That way we can bring it back outside to oil all the gathering chains, the auger chain, just oil the chains. Getting the combine back out of the shed sure gets me excited for harvest. I love running the combine, but it could be a while because we've had a lot of cooler weather here in the middle of August, which is starting to slow down our crop development, especially on corn where we need a lot of heat units to start to dry out a lot of the corn. So harvest might be a little bit later than usual, but either way, we're gonna be ready. Because we didn't put all the knives down here on our chopper, I'm just shutting off each row that we don't have the knives on. So when he does start the corn head up, these bolts and everything don't go spinning all over, so I can just individually turn off each row's chopper with this little handle up here. With the corn head ready to go, now we're coming over into our big machine shed where most of our equipment sits. And we got a new starter for our Super MTA that's been sitting there for about 3 weeks, hasn't moved, needed a new starter. So now Dad and I are gonna try popping that in. Hopefully that's all it takes to get her back and up and running. For anyone wondering what the starter looks like, here is the starter we're putting in. This is a reman actually. I thought it was brand new, looked at the ticket. It's a reman starter, so it's used. We're gonna get this in. Here goes the moment of truth. What the heck? Nothing. We thought it was a starter. Makes me think now it was the battery, but it looks like the lights are working, so the battery must be good on it. Now I think we're gonna try giving it a little pull, try to get it unstuck, then probably let it run for a while, see if that might help. That's what I'm driving right now. I'm still not overly convinced that changing the starter and then having to pull with the chain is going to be a long-term solution for whatever problem we might have going on. The tractor's in the shed, and now I actually know that the problem is more than just the starter because it will not start back up. So that's going to have to be a song and a dance or a problem for a different day's project, because that's all I got for today's video of High Tech Farmer. But before you go, I just want to say thank you so much everyone who watches these videos. I don't just say thanks so much for watching at the end. As a catchphrase, I say it because I actually mean it. And I wanted to express that to you guys. So with that, thanks so much everybody for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.